let's not do that. Okay. Live stream is open on the phone so I can see chat, which is good. Pen is charged. Hello and good morning, everyone. Today, more comic work. So we're going to be tracing over stuff and making it look nice and pretty. Hold on a sec, I just got to get a drink. Okay, there we go. Just need a drink because I imagine this page is probably going to take about, if I had to take a wild guess, it's kind of becoming a running theme now. If I had to take a wild guess on how long this one's going to take, probably somewhere in the area of about, I'd say 2 hours. There's detail, but not a lot of detail. As for the blue coloration stuff, this stuff, well, maybe. Pen, really? As for, like, this blue coloration stuff, that is for, when we get there. Oh, panel. Let me make a panel folder real quick, just so this goes a lot more easier. Organization key. But yeah, this kind of stuff, basically what that is magic. And that is already applied and will be applied to the final thing. It's just in 50% right now. But if I were to go here and, well, if I turn this off and turn this on, see, you see that it's it's much more visible. Which basically what it's supposed to represent is like water magic, because the Queen is a siren. So she delves in the waters. So we're not worried about this one right now because it's just a text layer. It's basically supposed to symbolize that she's running. And basically in the original it says zoom. So that's what that panel will be. The hardest panel on this page, God, there were a few hard ones on this page. I want to say it was probably this one. This one was definitely the most difficult because the pose, the detail, nuts. This one was hard too because I'd never drawn the shoulder angle before. Or like, you know, the side angle from behind the shoulder. I call it the Family Guy pose because they use this pose a lot when they're conversating. Like, it is overused. But anyways, hopefully everyone's having a great day, and let's do her, I guess. I see I forgot to erase a few lines, but that's okay. I think I avoid erasing them because I was afraid that it would erase some details of Aquina, so I don't know. It depends on how it goes, I guess. So hopefully everyone's having a great morning with their families and pets and all that stuff. And if you're in the foreign lands, then good afternoon. And we're just basically going to be tracing over this, fixing some issues, making it look nice and clean for the final stages. Let's see. Let me clean that up a little bit. Whoop. Smaller. So yeah, basically what I'm doing now is I'm making the revised process or the revised version of every one of these like pages, because currently episode 1 of this comic is 22 pages long, I believe. Yeah, 22. It's 22 pages long. So we're on page, this would be page, I think we're on page 17. This would be 17. So this is page 17 of 22. So we're nearly there. 5 days away. Then comes the fun part, which is the shading and the coloring. make sure I get these lines correct. So this needs to come up more like this. Hair strands are always the trickiest shit to get even. Is that good? Yep, okay, now it's even. Do her eyebrow. What was I doing there? But yeah, I'm assuming this will probably take around 2 hours. That's my guess. So put your bets in now, because I've been pretty on point with the timings lately. But yeah, this seems like about a 2-hour job, just because there is a lot of details to go over and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely there is a possibility this will be like 2 hours work, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all, considering my usual work time is like 4 hours. Then after this, I have to work on the other comic I'm working on, which takes a little longer because, well, the poses are a lot more complex. And is that a hair part? Is that covered by hair or not? I don't think so. But the other thing I'm working on, it's got more complex posing and all that stuff. So it's definitely going to be a lot more work. But I'm just basically doing 2 different kinds of things to get a good grip before I actually go into the coloring process. So just join in, chat, and have a good time. Feel free to ask questions if you want. Just don't ask things like, what the story is about or anything like that, because that's basically spoilers. And that's not what I'm going to give you, because, yeah, this is a project that's coming out hopefully next year, which I do think it will come out next year. Probably around February-ish is when it'll probably come out. Episode 1, I mean. Why are these high shapes always such a pain in the ass? As long as it just gets the point across, that's all I care about. I kind of like that expression better, because it looks like she's being more like concerned. Okay, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Is that supposed to be the neck? I don't know. And I don't really remember, because this was drawn forever ago. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't think it's the neck, because that goes way too far back to be the neck. And again, I was kind of struggling with these kinds of poses at the time, so who knows? Maybe I did fuck it up. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Nope. Gotta get that grounded. God, these things are so freaking difficult when they want to be. There we go. And from the looks of the poll, oh, that's the thing that I need to bring up. For those who are interested in this project, I want you to go to my channel and go to like the community posts, because there is a post there that regards this project, and I need your opinion, or not an opinion, but your input on like what kind of style of visual you want. Because basically this story has 2 or this can go in two different styles. It could go either in a fully colored version, or it can go into like a manga style, which is black and white. Either way, I'm fine with it, but one definitely will not take as long as the other. So if you are interested in this project coming out, then please go to my channel page, go to my posts, like my community posts, and give me your input. Because right now it seems like people would really like to see like a manga style, which honestly surprises me because, well, given like the fandom that I came from before this, and the majority of like all the stuff that is created being in full color, for people to say they want like a black and white, that's shocking to me. It's like it's not like a dead like landslide even, but it is pretty damn close. It's like last I checked it was like 42% for the fully color, and then for the black and white it was like 58. I think that's the proper math. I mean, I'm fine with it either way. And the other project I'm working on, it's not safe for YouTube, so I can't post that here, but it is basically I'm doing it in full color to get a feel for how hard that would actually be. And let me tell you what, guys, it's hard, but it's not as hard as I thought it would be. But that's because the backgrounds in it are honestly not that complex. It's a sunset background, pretty much. Sunset, spring, very simplified background, very simplified coloring, nothing difficult. So, hello, Luke Edits. Hopefully, you're having a great day. Let's see. But yeah, the one that I'm working on that's fully colored, it's taught me a lot. It's really taught me a lot of how this kind of stuff works. God damn it. And this is a part where I've got to be very careful. Oh, I see the finger. It's like right there. You just wouldn't see that index. And that's why it's difficult to tell sometimes. How long has this took? I started... Jeez. I don't remember when I actually started. It's taken a while. I know that for a fact. Because the rough sketching part, that took easily over 2 weeks. So I'd say we're close to about a month's progress. Like pretty close to a month, like a month's time of putting it together. Keep in mind, this isn't even the last process. This is like step 2. The color and the shading part, that's where it gets difficult. That's where all of the time is going to be consumed and the most time is going to be used. Okay, how do I do this? Okay, I guess what I'm going to have to do here, because of how I plan to use the color, is I'm going to have to put the blue, like, colorish stuff for the magic color on the layer underneath this one. That seems about right. Yep, it's been a lot of work, but I've just been kind of focusing on a ratio of 1 page per day. I've had a friend to help me along the way as well, because he enjoys, like, watching me put it together. Don't worry, he's on the project, so he's free to know what's going to happen and all that stuff. Come on. There we go. Okay, back leg. Well, yeah, one step is going to take longer than the other, for sure, or one style is going to definitely take longer than the other one. And fully colored is definitely going to be the one that would take a lot more longer just because of how much more work goes into it. How much more effort goes into it. That's the proper word. When with a manga style, it would be more like light shading, very less amount of like you have to put least, like you don't have to put as much work into it because manga, like black and white style, is very simplified. And I do want to try different styles, so but it's not up to me. That's up to my viewers because I want them to get the best amount of like entertainment out of it and a positive like watching experience. But yeah, the poll results are honestly shocking to me because I would think like fully colored, but I don't know. Maybe it's just like my viewers are manga fans or something. I don't know. I found a channel that's helping me to really like see how like a manga is properly made. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it would be. That's got to be her neck. Has to be. Either that or it's like part of her headphones or something like that. I don't know. If I put it there, it's definitely like that's part of the color. That's part of like the color or something. If it's in there, it was in there for a reason, and I don't remember what it was. Okay, that looks okay. I'll do the magic last. But definitely doing this has taught me a lot of stuff. Like how to do like definitely like with clove folds and stuff. I've really gotten a lot of practice with that stuff. Side angle, I've gotten a lot of practice with that. And if you don't know, I suck at side angle. Like side angle is one of my least favorites to do. So getting a lot of practice with this angle has really definitely helped to develop my art skills. And I've learned basically how to do it correctly so that you're not playing guess who, pretty much. Because I was struggling to make proper side angle faces. Like they weren't terrible, but one of the things I tend to do the most with side angle is I either make the nose way too elongated or or make the chin way too far down. Like go far too far down. From what I've heard, it's a very common mistake, like when you first start making side angle stuff and all that. But yeah, I don't want to keep repeating that problem, so I found a way to kind of fix that issue. And it's a proper like I guess like method, which basically you just draw a circle, you put a cross through it, that's where the nose would connect. You go down kind of like that and you connect it like that. Still not easy. I still get problems. Like I've studied quite a few ways that people like how you can draw the body, and some people use shapes and stuff like that. Personally, I don't like that method. It's weird to me. I don't like it. What is that? Okay, that's her leg in the back. Like I've tried the shaping technique, it didn't work for me. Like how people use like squares and stuff to like make a character like structure. Did not work for me. So I make it a little difficult on myself, but hey, where's the fun in that if you don't give yourself a little bit of a challenge? Not to the point where it's going to kill me, though. Whoa. Okay, top of the skirt. Like, things I still need to work on. I need to work on, like, different articles of clothing. Like, the last thing that I did that was, like, legitimately difficult was a wedding dress. Mainly because at the time I've never done a wedding dress. So that was definitely a, like, oh god moment. Like, oh god, I don't know if I can do this. But references are your best friend. And that's exactly what I used. I looked up a reference of a lady in a wedding dress, something close to what I was supposed to draw, and bing, bang, boom. I love how it came out, but dear God, was it a lot of work. Not trying to focus on this area. My hand is just wanting to be a bitch. If there's anything that I can tell you guys, if you ever plan to draw like good art, you gotta get this. You gotta get these areas. Like if you ever plan to draw appealing art, you definitely gotta get this area very, very accurate. Because I'm not being like lewd or anything. It's just that's where the eyes go, especially if you're a guy. Okay, what am I looking at? That's a good question. Is that her hair or is that part of her neck? Looks like something covering the collar, so it's probably hair. Probably hair that comes down onto the chest. Or is it just part of... Oh, it's part of the part that goes up to the neck. I see, I see, I see. But I do already have some voice actors chosen. So we do have some we do have some voice actors for certain characters. And if you want a voice in this, well, there's plenty more episodes to go, and I don't really know who all is going to be in it yet. Like, how my brain works is when I start, I can have ideas, but as I go along, my brain can just say, ooh, let's try this idea. Like, it'll just, like, brainstorm something and be like, oh, let's try this. I do not want to even tell you how many times that's happened. Especially during the production of, like, big projects. One I remember that was a big one where that kept happening was Cheating Dawn. That story, the end twist, that one went through so many different processes. Like, so many different versions. Like, there was one where Sweetie Belle was basically... how did it go? Where Sweetie Belle was game master at the end part of the story, but she wasn't actually game master. It was basically a fuck you move. Like, it was a dick move. Basically, Sweetie Belle was put as the facade of game master, but instead she was just used as a decoy. And if Button basically made the wrong choice to kill, well, yep. But no, my brain went to way more darker areas. Which, that's dark, don't get me wrong, that's absolutely fucked up, but... And that's how that's what I like to make. Like, yeah, this story, it'll definitely have its fucked up moments. Because it's definitely gonna be it's gonna be a grimdark. Like, it's definitely a grimdark comic or manga or whatever the fuck you want to call it. which, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I tried looking up what makes a manga, and the only answer I get, but is immediately debunked from Google, is something is basically a comic that was made in Japan, made, published, and basically put out in Japan. Well, that's false because there's a lot of mangas that are made by Americans or foreigners, like French people. I've seen French ones. I've seen Spanish ones. I've seen Portuguese ones. So that whole shabacle is debunked. So what makes a manga a manga? That's my question. And I have no idea what that answer is, but I've looked up if, like, an American can make a manga, and yeah, it's not forbidden. But the place you are going to find the most manga is definitely like Japan and all that stuff. Like, that's definitely the place of origin. I'm not doubting that. But the difference, like, what is the actual difference between a manga and a comic? Because I'm clueless. Did I forget to erase her arm? Whoopsie. Forgot to erase her arm. That's why it's the rough draft. Oh, I remember drawing this angle. Oh my god, this was so difficult. Okay, we gotta be very careful here. Okay, what am I looking at? And what is what? Is it more like that, comes down like that, and then the hand goes out? So that would be your thumbnail. Not a YouTube thumbnail. And the trickiest part about this is the angle. The angle is the trickiest part of this entire thing right here. I can't read that. I know it's Russian, but I can't read it. So that's where the finger goes. It's curling over. Then the finger curls over like that. I think. It's hard to tell from this angle. Yeah, I remember doing this. This was a pain in the ass. Something like that. I don't know. It's hard to tell from this angle, and I'm not used to drawing angles like that, so it's definitely different. Nor does it really need to be perfect. Because we're selling the main point in the face, like the faces. Because the face is probably the most expressive place. It's in the title, dude. I'm working on a comic that I plan to release for YouTube. Okay, let's see. Does that suffice? Yeah, it suffices enough. I'm not the best at these kinds of angles. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have my weaknesses. By the way, I wasn't saying that out of, like, spite or anything like that. I was just saying, it's in the title. Again, I can't read that. I'm not Russian. You have to type in English, dude. Or gal. Nope. It suffices enough. Something along those lines. Connect this a little better. Or the size of that eraser. Say hello to Christina. Who the hell's Christina? Technically, I just did. I swear, if this is like a D's nuts joke or whatever, which I don't see how it could be. Okay, let's see. Did I get everything? Looks like I did. Don't think I missed anything. Besides the magic. Besides the magic. Though I think I want to give her, how do you do that? Like this? Yeah, like pressure lines underneath the eyes because it kind of simplifies pain. Which she is in pain, so. Okay, I'll add that later. Let me just double check I didn't miss anything. I don't think I did. I don't think I missed anything. Nope, no key details that I can see. Besides the magic. The magic is the only thing that's not touched. For a reason. Alright. Next panel. Panel 2. Alright. Whoa, what the heck? Okay, let's just start on Aquina here. This one was slightly challenging just because I'd never drawn from this angle before. I call it the Family Guy angle because they use this pose so much, especially when they're conversating. Had to do that recently in the one that's not safe for YouTube as well. Oh, another thing I should reiterate, I am no professional. This is completely something new to me, so I'm learning as I go. I'm taking straight from sources that know more about this shit than me. Like I found one channel that does a lot of manga dubs, and it's definitely helped. Even though there are some, like there's one, I don't know if it's a voice actor or if it's like an AI voice. I can't tell. But the voice is so annoying. It sounds like who did I say it sounded like? It's annoying. It's like one of those voices that's like, fingernails on a chalkboard. It annoys the fuck out of me, and I have to skip those ones, even if they are good. But one of the ones I listened to last night, I have to agree with the comments that the story was not really the best because, well, it's literally about a girl who literally broke a guy's heart just to avoid him having to witness her potentially dying from a disease. And when he confessed his feelings to her, basically, yeah, she laid it on very, very fucking hard. So much so that he was traumatized and didn't ever go near, and basically developed a hatred for women. And I'm like, and the ending is so like, he feels like it's his fault. I'm like, dude, it's not your damn fault. It's her fault. Look, I get what she was trying to do, but at the same time, why did you have to be so cruel about it? Like, you don't realize the damage that you caused. And all the comments are like, I have to say that this one wasn't the best, like blah 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 blah. Like, this girl was a fucking to this guy. And I agree. I completely agree. And that the guy had nothing to apologize for, but yet he apologized. I'm like, oh, this shit pisses me off. Because I was someone who was a victim of bullying for 5 years straight. And we're talking horrendous bullying. Sexual harassment, feces rubbed in my face, stuff that basically immediately like traumatized me. And it's still there to this day. Like people don't realize what they do to you. Like that's why it was like frustrating to me because I've been there. Now with a girl, like not confessing my feelings to a girl and getting freaking like shut down like in the most cruel way imaginable, especially after they've been friends for goddamn years. Like I guarantee that was kind of the point, but at the same time, bad writing. It's really bad writing. Like I don't know if the person who made it was in a rush. Like I don't know where the mangas actually come from that they read, but yeah, this one wasn't the best. And there's other ones where the characters are just like seriously stupid, like completely oblivious to like the most of them are rom-coms. Like that's literally what this channel makes. It's rom-com manga dubs. And I have to say there is some where the main protagonist is so fucking oblivious and stupid that it legitimately pisses me off. I'm like, bro, she is literally holding up a sign saying, "Go out with me, I love you," and you are completely and utterly oblivious. Like, you are just straight up being an ass right now. But I get it. I get it. It's a trope. It's a thing. It's a thing in anime, like the characters do, like main protagonists who are considered losers. Yeah, I get it. I know exactly what they're doing. It's basically a common trope, especially in rom-coms. The character is a complete dunce that doesn't understand romance, doesn't understand when the signs are clearly there. But yeah, that one that I was listening to last night was just bad. Like, was it good? Yeah, but the portrayal of the female girl was bad. Like, there are so many other ways this girl could have laid this guy off rather than breaking his heart and basically traumatizing him. But I get it. I get it. Some people like that stuff. Maybe the manga maker was trying to be unique or something. Like I get it. I get it. As a writer, I get these things. Sometimes you have to kind of think outside the box because you want to either diversify yourself from the usual crowd, or you are just like trying to be unique. And sometimes that ends good, sometimes it ends bad. That was literally my first years on YouTube in a nutshell. Trying different things, getting some cringe along the way. Like there's one fic that I wrote and did a fan fiction reading of that I still cringe at. I don't know what went through my mind when I wrote those words, but yeah, it's cringe. It is absolute cringe. And that's why I try not to make my like stories too cliche. But when it comes to things like horror, you're definitely going to get cliches. Like there is so many tropes, so many things you see over and over again that it just ends up happening. But I try my best to be unique. Like, is this story unique? In ways, yes. In ways, yes. But at the same time, it's also not. Because it carries the same themes that you've seen like a gazillion times in horror. But I also add my own fling to it, just to kind of give it some, uniqueness, rather than, copy paste. But yeah, you get like the tropes that are going to be very repetitive and they're going to be very like you can't avoid them. especially of horror. Which I don't consider, well, okay, there are horror elements to it, but I would consider this fan fiction more, I would say, or fan fiction, excuse me, this comic or whatever, to be less on the horror side and more on the mystery suspense side because of what happens in it. What happens that leads the story on, pretty much. Like my touch is definitely there. You can definitely tell that I've wrote this because I really have my own tropes that I always put in my shit. And it'll definitely be there. But the first few episodes are definitely going to be more on the mild side. Well, I wouldn't say episode 2 is going to be on the mild side, but episode 1 is really just going to be about establishing our excuse me, establishing our characters, like all of our main characters. Okay, this line's really starting to piss me off. But that's literally all it is. It's an introduction chapter. It introduces the world. It introduces, the characters, who they are, what kind of species they are, the dangers, the potential, like risks and stuff, and that this isn't like, a regular world anymore. Things like that. That's basically what the first chapter will be. It's an introduction. Episode 2 will be where things really, really start to kick off. That's when the main plot points will start to come into play. But yeah, this is definitely going to be like a grimdark aspect, like genre comic, but it's not going to be fully grimdark, if you get what I mean. And because I've learned, when it comes to like horror, when something bad happens, like something detrimental or just straight up screwed up happens, you need to counter that with comedy. Like you need to counter it with some way of calming the viewer down. Like comedy or something along those lines, or a very heartfelt moment. And definitely that whole aspect is here, but it's definitely not like I've been doing this long enough. I know how to write like a good story. But that's not necessarily meaning that it is easy to write. Something like that. Especially like RTBA is a perfect example. The first part is literally slasher. Like it's literally a slasher. So bad things are happening constantly. And to counter that with comedy is impossible because of what is happening in the actual like setting. Basically these characters are stuck in like a maze, being chased by serial killers that know where they are at all times and are just toying with them. They're going to pounce, but you never know when. So the suspense factor is there. And it's constant. Not to mention some of the kills in it, my God. There's one that when I was writing it, it even made me a little like, whoa. Like it made me a little sick to my stomach because yeah, it was that bad. It's a very fucked up death, but it's a death that sells the entire like aspect of what the story is about. It's about serial killers like coming after you. And what do serial killers do? They kill in very horrendous ways. So, yep. Need to zoom in a little bit more on that. So, yeah. This is definitely going to have its light moments. It's going to have its really screwed up moments. But I think it's going to be a good story. And hopefully my brain doesn't pull another RTBAA where it basically goes, oh, we can turn this into a series. No, not again. RTBAA was enough work already. I'm hoping to just make it one series for start, like just to get started. Just to get started. Because this is my first attempt at something, like this. So start small, then build big. And that was the lesson I did not hear or understand when I started YouTube. Because I started big, I didn't start small. The first thing I ever put out was Bittersweet Apple Acres, and that was a big story. Multi-chapter, and there was no guarantee that it was going to succeed at all. But people liked it. I found my calling, and yep, Lady Luck Dove shone down upon me that day. But yeah, RTBA was the it's a sequel, but it's a sequel that got held on the back burner for so long, and I'm glad that it did get put on the back burner because of certain reasons that involve some of the characters in the story in the original draft. I'm so glad that I held off, because otherwise that story would have been dog shit. So maybe what happened back then was a blessing, even though it wasn't a blessing at the same time. But yep, horror is my favorite genre. But I really want to try like different things. Like, that's why I don't want to make this just straight up horror. I want this to be also like have some comedy elements. I want to have some drama. I want it to have some suspense. And said project that I just talked about was the one that kind of opened that door and showed me that yes, I can do this. I am capable of doing this. I can write a good story that's character driven and make it good. And I've been wanting to do comics for a long time. Comics, mangas, whatever the fuck they are. I've been wanting to do this probably ever since like 20, I want to say probably around 20, probably ever since like 2018. But I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the equipment, I didn't have the resources, I didn't have what I needed. And I also did not have the experience. Skills, I definitely didn't have the skills to do it. So it took me to find like a project where it required those kinds of skills to finally see, I can do this. And learning how to draw was a huge bonus, because now I can basically draw these characters myself and get some help on certain things, because I do have artists that are, going to do some backgrounds and stuff for things that I can't draw. Like things like buildings, vehicles, things like that. I can't draw that shit. I'm best at females. I'm good at, forbidden stuff. I'm good at backgrounds. Like, I can do some backgrounds, like sunsets, beaches, things that are simple, like 2-line backgrounds. I can do that just fine. Some settings I can do just fine as well. Like, one that's a very common one is like bars. Like, I can do bars. I can do I could do a lot of things. Like a camping setting I could probably do. I could do anything to do with like nature, forests. Wouldn't be fun to make, but yeah, I can do a lot of backgrounds. But when it comes to things like buildings or even like vehicles, nope, that's definitely not me at all. So, yep, I do need some help in some areas, even if it is just a little bit of help. And I'm glad I've got people who actually are willing to, assist me. Oh, that's the cheek. And some are from RTBAA because they're great people. They're very dependable people. And they're people that I've known for a long time. Like RTBAA was not just a huge project, it was a bonding experience between like me and all of the people that were involved. Everyone. Everyone on that project was fantastic. There were some people that had to leave because of personal issues and stuff, but I understand that because after episode one of after episode one of part two, yeah, my life just turned into a freaking non never ending like just bullshit, like endless like misery. Family members were dying left and right endlessly. And then I got gout. Then my grandma dies again. Or then my grandma dies. And yeah, it's fucked. So yeah, you can understand why I had to take time to recover from that. And it took forever. Then I had surgery on my foot to get rid of the gout and a bunion. And then I was down for 6 weeks and I couldn't do anything. And I think my team understood. Like I even told them, I'm sorry that I can't do anything right now, but I have to listen to the doctor, and all I can do, and same thing. I always like talk to my like audience. Told them, all I ask is that you guys be patient because the end to part two is coming for RTBAA. It's coming, but it's going to be very, very like slow. You need to just be patient with me. And once I got able to walk again and I could, put pressure on my foot again, yeah, that was the day when I finally got back on the project and was like, it's time. We are getting this done. And, I lost some artists in the process of just that long ass, like, wait. And I understand. They've got their lives. They've got to do what they've got to do. I have no, like, grudges or anything against them because, that's just part of being a content creator. You're going to lose people, and people have got lives. Like one of the artists that I remember that did a great job on more than just one project because they also did the cover art with oh god, was it Pretzel? I believe it was Pretzel that did it with her. And they worked on Reborn as well. And Reborn was another big one that was basically a redux of an old, like, really, like, one of the very first things on the channel. And I recently re listened to it, and I still cannot believe how well it came out. I am so proud of myself for making it into what it became. Because I also implied things like my own music, I implied things like just like changing the story entirely, making it make more sense, improving a lot of things while also making it, close to the original. It really boosted my confidence. But I knew I had to get RTBAA done. It was on my regimen. No matter what, no matter, even if it took forever, I would do it. Because RTBAA was a project that I loved. I loved how, like, it's my best written work. Like, it's my best writing. It's my best, like, portrayal of characters. It's the best writing I've ever done. And I wanted to finish it. I didn't want this to just go on the back burner. But I had to get to that point of where basically I could do it again. And that took a while. It most certainly did take a while to get past all of the grief and shit. And yeah, then when the gout hit out of absolute nowhere, yeah, the surgery, just a lot happened in those years. And my team was understanding. They understood, I had to recover and that there was no rush. But I said to myself, uh, this year, because October is always the part of the year that's the biggest for me. I said to myself, once I finished part two to RTPAA, I said to my audience, guys, October, we finish our TPAA. And there was a point where I thought it was not going to happen, but I told myself, no, absolutely not. We're not doing this again. You need to get your fucking ass going. So, and what basically happened was writer's block. Writer's block happened, and I was, not motivated to even like do anything because I couldn't even like come up with anything. And honestly, that happens. But when you're on a time crunch, because keep in mind, this was only like, 3 months before October. So I had to go, go, go. I had to get the writing done still because the story wasn't done yet. And the person I turned to, because she's my biggest fan of the series, was my mom. My mom loved our TBA. She loved what the characters, she loved the storyline. And basically, I was stuck at a point where I couldn't continue the story. And I don't know why this stumped me so bad, but it did. So I go to my mom and I ask her, Mom, what do you think can, work here? Like, give me ideas. If you come up with any ideas, let me know on, how I can get past this fucking slump because it's really getting to the point of where I can't, like, do it. And so about a week later, my mom comes to me and she gives me an idea of like Applejack, like being still like in their minds, like she's still connected to them. And immediately, bam, writer's block, gone. I immediately knew what I wanted to do. It was just a matter of putting it on paper. And and one day I just got onto Google Docs, started going, and once I got past that threshold, I knew it was possible. I knew I could do it. And less to say, it was a lot of work. It took a long time, but I stuck to doing at least one chapter a day. And that was a great ratio, just like how I'm doing one page a day for this. And once it was done, I knew I could do it. Once the writing was done, I knew that I could do it. It was just a matter of, just getting all the editing done, getting the recording done. And that takes time, but it's not the worst amount of work. Plus, I had someone to help me on this crazy ass journey, which was my current editor, Sanctuary Sanity. Great guy, and he really super helped. Like he was a huge reason why RTBA got done as fast as it did because I needed help. Like I couldn't do this on my own anymore. Like I don't want to say like I'm getting old or anything like that, but I'm not as young as I was, when I first started the YouTube channel. When I started the YouTube channel, it was like 2016 or something like that. No, 2015. 2015 was the year that I started YouTube, and not for any serious reason. I just did it for fun. So yeah, all those years of working on those projects and just pushing myself to get to the point of where I currently am on my YouTube channel, yeah, it's caught up to me. It's hit. And it's definitely there. I can feel it. So getting help, I needed it. So I went to my friend Lotus, who has an editor, and I asked her, What's the name of your editor again?" And she pointed me to them. I asked them, "Can you help me out?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, I can help you out." And I said, "All you need to do is basically, do the first stage, like just clean the audio up, remove the mistakes, and just put the audio to where, I can start editing it pretty quickly." And lo and behold, we got there. Also, this panel's done, I think. We got there through a lot of work, a lot of perseverance, and it was a shit ton of work, but it was worth it. Okay, yeah. It was worth it because it pushed my confidence like levels up majorly and made me into like like I knew I could do this. I had the for fuck's sake. I had the confidence. Now, it's just about execution. And we're already pretty damn far. Like, I came with the idea for this. Weirdly, I think it was during the lull of, like, between RTBA Part 2 and writing Part 3. Like, how my brain works is it'll be just like, uh, one day it'll just be, like, I'll just be sitting there and all of a sudden, boom, here comes this idea into my mind. And I'll start writing it, and then I'll get, like, held up on that. And that's kind of how this whole thing came into effect, because I really started to get more into anime, mainly because it like derived from like playing stuff like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, stuff like that. Like that's where my anime like interest came from. Then I was just like, I want to learn how to draw. Like one night I was just sitting in a Discord call with an artist and my friend Mark, and I asked her and I said, "Would you be willing to teach me how to draw?" And of course, she thought I was joking. But to show that I was serious, what I did was I looked up a YouTube video on how to just draw an anime girl, like a standard anime girl, like standard pose, like just a headshot. And yep, I went for it. Did it look okay? Uh, for start, it looked pretty good. And I just kind of worked on it slowly but surely. Like once per day, I would just kind of sit down and redraw that anime girl over and over again, and I made mistakes. Noticed those mistakes, worked to fix them, and eventually I realized the original uh, method of drawing the character was just not working for me. Which basically how this person drew was they would draw like 3 lines. This is like step one. They draw 3 lines on lined paper, and these lines represented like where my god, these lines represented where I think the nose, the top of the lip, and where the just before the forehead would go. And for some reason, my brain sometimes just did not function, and yeah, sometimes it just didn't come out looking good. But did that deter me? No. I just knew, okay, this ain't working for me, so I've just got to find another way. So the way that I learned how to draw the body, it's not the most the most moral way to do it, but but I didn't do it in a way where I use this tool to trace over everything. And that was basically because AI was becoming a major thing at the time. I would generate like an AI image of like a girl, and I would trace the outside. Just the outside. I wouldn't trace anything else. The hair and all that was all me. Hair, eyes, everything, the colors, everything was all done by my hand besides the outline because I didn't know how to draw the human body correctly. So, these were the things that taught me how to draw the human body correctly. And I learned how like the shapes work, how the curves work, things like that. Like one huge mistake I made with the human body or with the female body was I would make the curve area around the hips, right above the hips. The curves would be way too squished into the rib cage. So it only took until someone, said something. It's one thing I hate about like, people either like try to downplay like, oh, looks fine when there's clear issues that you don't see, and only until you get someone who actually has a voice and isn't afraid to tell you, oh, okay, well, you need to improve this. Yeah, that was kind of how it was for me. Like, here I was thinking that I was drawing just fine. But no, I was drawing the curve area where the pelvic bone, comes into play, completely, like, squishing her guts. So, I had to learn. And, well, I still do struggle a little bit, but I always, whenever I get to that area, I always double check to make sure that the curves are, like, what's the word? They're not, like, into the body. Like, they're not, like, squishing her guts. And sometimes that results in me, like, drawing them a little too wide. And that's just a matter of fixing it over and over again. But it teaches me. And it's a learning curve. And I still struggle with it, but I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think there's always going to be a struggle. My God, why is this neck curve giving me so much trouble? Just learning how to draw anatomy in general was a challenge. And still is a challenge. Like learning how to draw the chest of a lady. Jesus. I still struggle. Like, the kinds that give me the most issues are the big ones. And you would think those would be the easy ones, right? Nope. Nope. The bigger they are, the harder they are. Much, much harder. And the reason why is because, well, the shaping. I prefer drawing small ones over big ones any fucking day. Like, I would rather draw small chested women than big chested women any day. I'll take that over a big chested woman any day. And that's part of anatomy if you ever plan to draw humans, so yeah, eventually you do have to learn it. If you're ever someone who's going to draw humans, yeah, be ready to draw a lot of chests and a lot of forbidden areas, because it's all part of the process. Okay, that one's done. That's just a fact. That's not being lewd or anything. That's just a fact, because it is part of the human body. Okay, this one shouldn't be too difficult. And a lot of people sometimes take that out of proportion, and they're like, dude, stop talking about that. That's gross. I'm like, why? It's just part of the human anatomy. Well, female anatomy is what I should say. And it's not in any explicit manner whatsoever. It's just part of anatomy. Ladies have chests. That's just a fact. That's why I have to always reiterate whenever I'm drawing that area to my audience that I'm like, guys, I'm not trying to focus on this area. I'm just trying to get this correct. I'm not trying to be lewd or anything. Just trying to get it proper. But yep, that's basically how I learned. I would trace over poses, get a good feel for how, certain things are drawn. Like the elbows are like a diamond that's very curved, very inclined, kind of sort of. The legs are like two different like sized, two curved, like one straight line, one curved line, and of course the connections. Like learning how to draw the bottom was really difficult because I really didn't know how to draw like that area because I'd always drawn like characters and like standing and looking at you from the front side. So when I first attempted how to draw the back area and to draw the butt, yeah, it was a day. And I remember exactly which piece it was. It was the one from Assistant the Secretary. It was Ganyu with her butt facing the character. That area has way more anatomy than the front. And I will say that proudly. There is so much more complexity to that area than there is for like just the front area. Like the front area is complex, but the back is much more complex in my opinion. Especially for the ladies. But my enemy anymore is literally just arms. Like arms for me are the worst. I don't know why, but they are. It's just how arms work, how the anatomy of them works, how they're shaped, how they can move around. Like it's so weird. Especially when you're drawing curves where the arms are like turned a certain way. You're like, okay, does the wrist turn that way? Can the hand turn that way? Those are things you have to. Those are the things I always ask myself. I'm like, okay, how does the hand like, curve here? Like you can kind of get away with drawing nonsensical like posing, as long as it's not too nonsensical. Like a perfect example of that is the Jacko pose. Like that pose is legitimately impossible, but at the same time, it's not too far from impossible. Like I do think a contortionist could probably do it, but it's definitely a pose that is not a very common pose that humans can do. So you can get away with a little nonsense, not but it's always good to just try and be as consistent as possible. Like I remember one Inktober piece that was straight up like I didn't know how this part of the arm worked. And I tried looking up references but couldn't find anything. And it was the one of oh god, what's her name? Shantae, whatever the fuck her name is. Shantae, and she's using one of her arms to hold herself up, while one is kind of behind her head on the opposite side, like she's like posing pretty much. It's a very common pose for like, like photos and stuff. But the arm at the back like that, I had to use myself as a reference to figure the fuck out how the elbow turns, how the hand turns, and all that. And I think it's just a little bit off. I do think it's just a tad bit wrong, but at the same time, I really don't think it's too far off to where it's problematic, if you get what I mean. Like, I don't think it's to the point of where that it's so not like it's so out of place that people are going to go, oh, okay, that's not right. Unless you're like an artist who is really looking at that kind of stuff. And I'm glad because, yeah. Oh, the mouth. So, yeah, you can kind of get away with a little bit of nonsense, but most of the time you want to try and be as consistent as possible. Like one, like the, again, back to the chest area, that place you can get away with a lot of nonsense, especially in like cartoons, anime, things like that. We've seen it. We've seen it in like cartoons. We've seen it if you watch like anime. You've seen it in anime. There is just nonsense, like with a capital N, nonsensical shit. But at the same time, it is not meant to be like serious. It's cartoonish, so you can get away with that. You can get away with the nonsense. Like some of the sizes that I see in animes, I'm like, that lady's spine is broke. Like it's broke. That is so much weight on the front that it is breaking the spine. But you can get away with it because it's not there for sincerity, it's for appeal. Like you can get away with that by just making it appealing. Like people aren't going to give a shit. They're going to look at it and go, they're going to look at that area and go, I like that. And I see it all the time in anime games, gotcha games. Oh, all the time. Because I play a lot of gotcha games. Like I've played a lot of them. And the ones where it's like just straight up nonsensical nonsense that I can think of is the Korean ones. You can tell the difference between a Korean game and a Japanese game. Japanese like gotchas are very tame. Like they don't try to be over sexualized like with the characters. Like they don't try to be too lewd. But when it comes to the Koreans, total opposite. The Korean games, the characters are ridiculous. Like the one that I can think of immediately, Nikkei. There are some characters that are pretty accurate to like actual, reality and not like complete nonsense, but then there's others that are just straight up like what the actual fuck? Like one I can immediately think of that's just nonsense is like Anise. Anise is just straight up what the hell? But again, these are androids, so nobody's taking it seriously. But if you look at like Hoyoverse games, Hoyoverse games very very tame. Unless you, actually, I take that back. ZZZ, like ZZZ, it okay. Is it like what I consider a Gooner game? Absolutely not. Like people say it's a Gooner game. I'm like, no, no. Play Nikkei, then get back to me. Play Nikkei. It's another Korean game that I can think of that's straight up nonsensical bullshit. Epic 7, Chaos Zero Nightmare. Play those games. Oh, Haze Reverb. Play that game. I don't know if they're a Japanese company or a Korean company, but looking at what I'm seeing, it looks Korean. Play those games, then get back to me. Because they push the boundaries a lot. Like, I thought Nikkei was bad. Oh no. Haze Reverb, that game is a whole different kind of level. Like, we're talking. They push the level. They push the boundaries. And somehow manage to get away with it. I don't know how they get away with it, but they do. Like, we're talking lots of skin. Lots of skin. Borderline near bare nudity. I'm not joking. Like, it is definitely a game that pushes the boundaries a lot. People say, and another game that people say is a Gooner game, Wuthering Waves. Okay, I will lie. There's characters in that game that are definitely on that level. But would I say it's a Gooner game? No, I don't. I love Cardathea. But is she like straight up sexualized? No. She looks more like a lady that's just dressed in a very appealing outfit. And she has two versions, big or small. I prefer small over big. Like characters like Changli, what's her name? Cantarella. Those characters are straight up, yeah, you can tell what they were going for. But I don't see I don't see as much of the G word element in this game in that game in comparison to say Nikkei. I don't see it. So that's why I say like people that say that Wuthering Waves is that kind of a game. I'm like, no, it's not. It isn't. I completely and utterly disagree with you. Which is fine. You can have your opinion, but I just don't think that Woowa is that kind of game. It's a game with a great story, very appealing characters, but are they over sexualized? Absolutely not. The people even said that like Carlotta's like summer skin was ridiculously like over sexualized. I'm like, no. It's a it's a swimsuit. Do you know how many swimsuits I saw growing up? Do you know how many cartoons I watched where characters were like, you know, that way? Like swimsuits that were slightly like revealing as a kid? Like on Cartoon Network and all that shit? Yeah. I've as a kid I saw that shit. And do I consider that like, Gooner element? No, I don't. Like Nikkei is a whole different kind of level. Haze reverb is definitely that element. A lot of Korean games are like that. So I don't get it. It's like, what was the most recent one that? Oh, the Chiza incident. There was a new character released in Wuthering Waves. Her name's Chiza. And in the quest that she appears in, people are so dumb. There's a scene where she says, "Thank you, Senpai," to the main character. People took that way out of proportion. They were saying that by her saying that, they were basically saying, "I love you" to the main character. And I'm like, no. Senpai is a common phrase used in Japan and I think China. No, it is only Japan. My bad. It's a common phrase for like a mentor, teacher, friend. Like, I don't get. Like, people are seriously stupid when they want to be. Like, I've played the quest. I've seen that scene. I'm like, this does not look like lovey dovey. It just looks like she's, like just respectfully complimenting her or thanking her friend. That's it. These people are taking this way out of proportion and apparently don't have girlfriends or boyfriends. Like, I won't lie, Wuthering Waves has those moments where it's like, you know, they're being deliberate on what they're supposed to be doing. Like, I've seen so many, like, instances of that. Like, one of my favorite, like, scenes like that is the one where we go on the, oh God. It's the one where we go find Fleur de Lis with Carthea. There's a scene where Carthea is like uh character like breaks and she shows that she's afraid of heights. You're basically in a little boat and you have to go up a waterfall and she's afraid of heights. So she clings to you unknowingly and basically blushes. Do I find that romantic? No, I find it cute. It's adorable. Because Karthi is like supposed to be this holy maiden and like this not ambassador, emanator of the main enemy, which is the Leviathan. So for her to break character and be this shy girl who clings to you because she's afraid of heights is funny as fuck to me. It's so fucking funny. And I love that they implied that. Like, they showed the human side of her. You know, technically she's not human, she's an elf. Or something. So I don't... Like, people take that shit way out of proportion. Like, she said, "Thank you, senpai." She didn't say, you know, "Take me into the next room, senpai." You know, she didn't say that. She said, "Thank you," for God's sake. Like, ay, ay, ay. Society truly is doomed, guys. Society truly is doomed. Alright. Looks like we're done with the main sketch. Or sketch, excuse me. The main trace over. Okay, so now what I need to do is turn that off. Turn that on. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's see. What? I can't do that. Okay. So I think it's text time. Oops. Alright, so what I need is to go... So for the first panel, that's technically not panel 1, that's panel 2. So I'm just going to do this. Put it underneath. Okay, so text. Okay, so for this one, okay, we need to go to the style. Text needs to be white. Outside it needs to be black. Okay, so text. And the action was zoom. Except that's not the right font. Would this work? Yeah, it'd work. I don't want to really go chase down that freaking... Okay. What number are we on? I think we're on 106, but I'm going to double check. We're on 107. Okay, so let's do something like that. 107. Take that down a lot. So like right there. Okay. Maybe. If I can get my fucking thing to behave. Okay, now panel 1. Oh, there's a lot of text here, isn't there? Okay, so what I need to do is I need to get one of these things. Considering this is like a serious endeavor, I think I'm going to get the spiked one. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? This one. Oh, that's going to be tricky. Guess I could do something like that. Okay. So her text is this font. All right, let's see if I fit this. Listen. Okay. Bring down the size a lot. If you unleash... Okay, style, I need to really give that a lot more poignancy. Is that even a word? I don't know. Is it a word? Okay, so if you unleash that, this entire... Yeah, like that. That's what I need. But we're using way too much room. Listen, if you unleash that, this entire bus and everyone on it will be toasted. Okay, that's kind of hard to see right now, but it's hard to tell what it says a little bit, but I think it's somewhat readable. And if not, I can just increase this thing. No, 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 no. That's better. Okay. That's more readable. Okay. Now to Brina. Basically the same exact kind of concept. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just make this easy myself. Copy, paste. Bristle. It burns too much. Okay, the spacing is way too close. Okay, now we can increase that size. Okay, now let's adjust the text a little bit. There is no comma there. You're nuts. can't. It burns too much. Okay, now I need to give... we're on 108. Size. Whoa, 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 whoa. About right there. Yeah, it's going to be really like zoomed in so you can actually read it a little better. So it's not going to be too much of a problem. Come on. All right, next one. All right, let's do a queen of first. Shut up. And just swallow the liquid. Different font. Oh, crud, that was close. So that is what she said. Swallow the liquid. Okay, I think we're going to put that as back here. So let's get a thingamajiggy. What's the one I'm looking for? It's frantic, but I think the viewers would get that. So we're just gonna... Ew. Okay. Let's go underneath. Okay, so what that needs to do is it needs to turn a little bit. Yep, so that it looks like it's coming from her, not from Brina. Get the thing. Turn it slightly. Okay. Whoop. No, 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 no. Come on. Okay. Now, this is basically kind of some sounds. Okay, for that, let's go with this. Okay, then right here would be a plop kind of sound. So that's a different font. Let's see what this does. Sorry, guys. Excuse me. A little too thick with the line. Better. Okay, let's increase that size as well. Let's go something like that. Okay, now the number 109. Something like that. Okay, put that more in the corner. All right. Now, to panel 3. Okay. just gulping sounds. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Something like that. Okay, this is 1010. 1010? No, that's not a thing. Okay, ow. Okay, back to Brina again. Let's see, get that. Okay. Very calm here. Stomach is calming. Not calming. Calming. My stomach is calming. Size needs to go down. Come on. My stomach is calming. What is she making me drink? It's kind of nice. Whatever it is. Okay. Do I put a speech bubble or do I just go straight text here? Let's see. So this would be like a thought line. So we want kind of a bubble. Kind of along the lines of this. If I do that, then what I would have to do is something like over here. Where's the rotate? There it is. Oh, there's a thing. Okay. Now I gotta adjust the text a little bit. My stomach is calming. What is... Okay, my stomach is... Let's drop that. What is she making me drink? Okay, let's, whoop. We'll put... Can't make it too small. Come on. Whatever it is, it's kind of nice. Okay. Someone's calling wish, make me drink. Whatever it is, it's kind of nice. Okay. We are on... Oh, I see. 110. So this would be 111. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to go back to the last one and reposition the number. Did I? Yes, I'm on the right one. Okay. Let's go. Let's go there. All right. Now we can go on to the next one. So it's this one. So what I'd have to probably do is a good question. Okay. Font needs to be something like that. That should be enough. To tame the flames in your stomach for now. Okay, let's see. Could I make that work in a speech bubble? Not too entirely sure. Is it this one? Nope, wrong one. Is it one? Okay, so it needs to go underneath that. I just don't want to obscure Rena too much. Whoop. Okay, needs to be smaller than that. Okay. I'm probably gonna have to put that on top of panel 6. Probably gotta move that other number elsewhere. Put that there. So what I'm probably going to have to do here, given that covers some of Brina's face, probably do something like that. Okay. Now go to panel 6. Stop the burning. 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 Okay. Speech bubble. Let's see, I need the one facing the opposite way. This one. Okay, now I need to put this on top. No. That one I can just do that manually. Okay, size increase. Oh, for fuck's sake. Forget the number again. Okay, 111. That'd be 112. So this will be 113. Size increase. I guess I could put that over here. Why the hell not? Okay, now I gotta go back to this one so I can put the thingamajiggy. So this is 112. Wrong font though. Oh, damn. Okay. Good. Still don't like how small that text is. The only thing I can think to do there. Okay, let's see. Because I gotta go back to. Is it this one? No. It's this one. Okay, it's not that one. Where is the... Right there. The only thing to do here is increase the size of this. And like go something like that. Just so it's bigger. Because it's a little too small. Okay. Could even go something, wait a minute. Could go even something like this. wrong one. There we go. Go something just so it looks like it's going towards her. Okay, just move that into place. That looks better. You can read it more better. Okay. Okay. Now what I gotta do is I've got to do this correctly. Okay, let's go to this. Get that color. Okay, we're just gonna have to do this by hand. Something along those lines. Okay, you're wanting to be a dick today, I see. God, it's hard to tell because it's so light. Yep, that'll sell. It'll sell enough. Okie doke. Let's take a look at it. So, listen, if you unleash that, this entire bus and everyone on it will be toasted. Open your mouth now. Can't, it burns too much. Shove and swallow the liquid. That's very small. Somebody's calling should make me drink. Whatever it is, it's kind of nice. Phew, that should be enough to tame the flames in your stomach for now. Okay. So the only thing I'm not happy with... Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3. So we need to go with 3. Not that. Yes, that. No. Now. Q. It's too small. Where's the thing? Oh, there it is. Would that work? That's much more readable. I can definitely tell that. Okay. Okay, I think that's good to go. Okay. Last bit we need to do is this. Okay. No. Font. Episode 1. My God, if my brain can work today. It's close page. We're on 17, I believe. Let's double check that to be absolutely sure. We are on, yep, 17. Okay. Looks pretty good to me. Looks pretty good to me. So I think we're done for the day. How long did that take? 2 hours. Look at me go. Wow. There's a few little things that could definitely be a little better, but there's not really much you can do. There's only so much little room. All right. If there's any things that I need to work on, I'll definitely give it a look, just to give it like a little bit more like fix. Like I can already see something that I don't like, and that is this. Okay, that is not that. Panel 4. 1, 2, 3. It'd be 6. Okay. What? Is it panel 5? Oh, you butt. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Excuse me. Lower the black just so it's a little bit more readable. There we go. Much better. I like that way more better. Alright guys, I think we're done. I think we are finished for this on this project for one day. So thank you all for joining, and I'll see you. Well, I'm not gonna get off that fast. But yeah, we're making really good progress on this, so that's good. We are only 5 pages away from fully revising this, so yay! But anyways, guys, thank you for joining me. Thanks for hanging around, and yep. I don't know when I'm gonna get back to this. It all depends on how I feel, honestly, and if I want to even stream. So if I don't want to stream one day, I'll just work on it, by myself. Put some music on in the background. But I don't know, guys. We'll see. Anyways, thank you all for joining me, and have a great day, and I will see you next time.